Let's go to our grammar books on page 109. 109, where we're at today. The lesson you guys did last week, by the way, was about quotation marks. You did that one by yourself. And if that was hard for you and you're still not sure about that, don't worry, because we'll talk about it again later. So you just have to make sure one of the main things to remember is the punctuation, like the period or the exclamation mark or the question mark. They all go inside the quote, depending on, what the person or the character is saying in the quote. But anyway, we're moving on. So we're talking about contractions today, and I have a feeling you guys know about contractions. Have you heard about those before? Give me a thumbs up if you've heard about contractions before. Yes and no. Okay, or no. All right. Contractions, maybe you'll remember when we look at this, they're actually words where you take two different words and smash them together into one word, but you use an apostrophe, which is that little mark at the top. It's like a comma, but you use it up by the letter. So look here, cannot, that's one of those words. It's not can and not, it's actually one word, cannot, but here they make it shorter. Can't, you probably have heard that one before, can't. So whenever you take letters out of a word, that's where that little apostrophe goes, right there. So between the N and the T, because they took out the O part or the NO part, can't. And look at this one, could not, two words, could not becomes couldn't. And they took the O out of not here. So that's how you tell where the apostrophe goes, right here. Could not, couldn't, did not, didn't. Is this ringing a bell now? You guys know about these, right? Okay, good. Did not is didn't, and they took out the O, so that's where the apostrophe goes. Do not, don't. He had, he'd. On this one, they took out the H and the A. It's okay if there's more than one letter missing, but that's where the apostrophe goes. And we don't use he'd very often, he'd, but you'll see it when you read a book or something, you might come across this word. And then he would, he'd again. It is, that's common. We see that one a lot. It is it's with an apostrophe where the I is gone. She will is she'll. They are, there, was not, wasn't. Those are contractions. They all have apostrophes. So guess what? In this book, they're going to forget the apostrophes on purpose. Lucky for you, you have to figure out where that apostrophe goes. Okay. So it's a new thing you're marking now in the grammar book. Here's your example at the bottom of that part right there. The soldier didn't know that the princess had stolen his bag. That word didn't. So it has an apostrophe, but it's darker there. They're showing you that's what you do. You just put the apostrophe in there. And then when you go to rewrite it at the bottom of the page, make sure you remember to put that apostrophe in there. You guys have any questions about these contractions? No? Okay, good. Anybody feel like reading sentence today? Okay, Kaden.
He sat hopelessly on the damp grass and didn't move for a long time.
Good, nice reading. Let's start with vocabulary. Damp. Do you guys know what damp means? What is damp, Kaden?
Like kind of wet and
Yes.
soggy.
Yes, kind of like in the morning when the dew is on the grass in the morning or on the leaves, it's a little bit wet outside. So damp means just a little bit wet. Good. Go ahead and find your two articles by yourself. Mark those. And then two nouns. Easton, where are the two nouns?
Grass.
Yes, that's one.
Time.
Good, yes. Grass and time. And Caden, what about the pronoun?
Um, he
Good, yes. Easton, what about the adjectives describing the nouns?
Damp.
Good.
Um, helplessly.
That's going to be ly adverb. Look at time.
Oh, long.
There you go, right before it. A lot of times the adjective is right there. Good. Well, and you kind of told us the adverb already. This has ly, so let's go ahead and label that one, adv. And then Caden, what about the coordinating conjunction?
and
Good. Now, some students were a little confused because they saw for here. And that's a tricky one. Because sometimes for is a part of the fanboys, you know, that's the conjunction. But here, it's actually a prepositional phrase. So you have to watch how it's used in the sentence in order to determine that. Okay, so Easton, I gave away one. Actually, no, I'm going to skip that. We're going to come back to that just because I want to. Easton, where are the verbs?
Sat.
Good,
Move.
good. And there's one more, it's a helping verb. Right
I forget what
before,
these are.
yeah, helping verbs go right next to the verb. So that right before move is where you'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't. So the did part in didn't is a verb. And then also look at that word didn't. It's missing something, Easton. Do you know what it needs?
An apostrophe.
Yes.
I don't know. I'll say that.
I knew what you meant. Apostrophe. It's a weird word. Apostrophe between the N and the T because they took out the O in that word not. So didn't goes right there. So we can check apostrophe. And then Caden, tell me what the subject is. There's really only one subject in this sentence.
he.
Yes, good. All right, Caden, I'm gonna have you do the next one since that was so short. Do you know where the prepositional phrases are now?
Um, on the
Yes.
grass
Yes, on the damp grass. It ends on a noun. That's good. Where's the other one?
for a long time.
Good. Excellent. Those
I
were
was trying to keep in mind that there's no verbs in the prepositional phrase.
good. Yes, no verbs. That's right. I'm glad you remember that. And once we do all the other stuff on the list, it's easy to see that this like on didn't have anything on top of it and for didn't have anything. So those are your clues. And then it always ends on a noun. So good job, Kaden. Capital Easton.
First letter of like the sentence.
Yes, right here for he. And then Kaden, how about the end mark? What do we need there?
Period.
Good. You got it. That was pretty easy, actually. So like didn't, they're going to try to confuse you with that. So make sure you look for that spot to put that apostrophe. Any questions about this page? Okay. Go ahead and put away your grammar book and then get out your binders next. Like I said a minute ago, you guys already finished your report. I saw Caden's. Easton, did you get a chance to finish yours too? On desert reptiles? So your homework was, remember we wrote about the Sahara sand viper? We did that one. And then we did the Mojave rattlesnake. And then the last one was Gray's monitor. Did you do that one too? Okay, good. So if you're done with it and you already turned it in online, you can put those away in finished compositions in your binder. Okay. So like, whoops. Let me get it out so you can see it too. All the stuff for desert reptiles, you have this page, and then the Sahara sand viper, the Mojave rattlesnake, the Gray's monitor, and the checklist. All of that can go behind finished compositions. Or if you're keeping your finished stuff in a different binder, put it in a different binder so you have room. It's up to you wherever you keep that stuff. Stick mine in there. Make sure you close the rings after you stick it in there. And then, you probably guessed it, go to the source text tab at the front. This one. Source text at the front, and go ahead and get out week 11. It's called Antarctica. This is what it looks like, week 11. So it starts on page 91. And you also need a piece of lined paper, so make sure to get that out too. Hayden?
Do we have to like take it out of the like book, like the lined piece of paper?
I would say yes, because I like to keep everything in the front pocket for the week that you're working on it. But I guess
like after then
yeah,
take
you
it off,
can.
because sometimes it's kind of hard to rush and like take it off.
Okay. I'm okay with you leaving it as long as you know where it is. Okay. That's fine. All right. So you should have week 11, Antarctica. It's 3 pages long and a piece of lined paper. So give me a thumbs up if you got that ready. Okay, good. The first thing we're going to do is go to your lined paper. And I'm going to have you take some notes here to get ready for this lesson. So go ahead and put your name, you know where it goes, right here. And then the date today is 2/15/24. Okay. We're still in unit 4. Okay, so I'm gonna have you skip a line and let's put that unit 4, and we're gonna put the name of the unit, because this is what we're working on right now, is summarizing a reference. So go ahead and write that in, summarizing a reference. And we've talked about this a couple of different times. I'll just remind you what this means. We've talked about that word summarizing and how it starts with SUM. And that always makes me think of math. You know, the sum of 2 numbers is the total, right? When you're adding numbers together. But it doesn't really work for this word when we're talking about writing. A better way to spell it would be SOME. Remember when I told you about that before? Sum, like SOME, that means like part. Like when you ask your mom for some cake, you're just really asking for a piece of cake, right? So sum, you're taking a bunch of information in writing and you're only retelling some of it. So whenever you summarize something, that's what you're doing. You're telling some of it, like part of it, okay? So this week we're learning about Antarctica. So go ahead and skip a line and write Antarctica. That's a continent. I'm sure you've heard it before. And then next to that, we're just going to put KWO, because that's what we're going to build to get ready to write our report about it. So we're doing another report. And this report is going to be 3 paragraphs again. So let's just set up our keyword outline so we're ready to go. And it's going to be Roman numeral 1, so skip a line, Roman numeral 1, you know how to do this. Try to keep your numbers really neat, okay? And keep them in line. So you're going to do 1 through 5. Whoops. 3, 4, 5. Like that. Try to keep them straight, okay? If you can, move over a little bit, make them straight. Take your time on this. I don't want you to rush because sometimes if you go too fast and it's sloppy, it's hard to tell what's going on. So after you get that one done, and I'll give you a minute to finish this. So don't worry, I'll slow down in a second here. You're going to do Roman numeral 3. Okay, take your time on this. I don't want you to go too fast. Try to keep it nice and neat. While you're writing that, the good news about the checklist is that there's nothing new on there. So it's the same stuff you're going to work on. You've got 4 dress ups and the topic clincher. That's the main thing. So that's the good news. Okay. You guys got this written down now? Good. Now let's look at the article called Antarctica, on page 93. I want you to notice how long it is. This is probably the longest one we've had yet. If you flip it over to the back, it goes all the way down. So remember when you wrote about the reptiles, it was nice because you had like 3 short articles. You had a short one, it's like 1 page about the Sahara sand viper, and then you had a different article about the Mojave rattlesnake, and then a different one about the Gray's monitor. Well, this time we only have 1 big article. So it's different this time because now instead of they gave you all your topics last time, now you have to find your topics here. So the first step is to read this, and I'm going to read it for you. And you're still going to underline things in it that are interesting and important. So you're still going to do that. But the other thing we're going to do is put a note in the margin about what each paragraph is mostly about. And that's going to be your choices for your topics. So it's not as clear as it was for the desert reptile one because they gave you your topics. This one, you only have your subject. Right here is Antarctica, but you have to figure out what your topics are. So that'll make more sense as we go. So what I want you to do is have your pencil or your pen ready, whatever you're using. You're going to underline interesting or important as I read this, okay? Don't underline every sentence. I want you to pick and choose the things that you think are interesting or important. Okay. Antarctica is a continent of extreme cold. Twice as big as Australia, it is the 5th largest of the Earth's continents. Antarctica is almost completely covered by snow and ice. However, it is actually a desert with less than 4 inches of rain or snow each year. It is, in fact, the largest desert in the world. Atop the land, snow has piled up over the centuries, forming thick ice sheets, huge glaciers, and towering icebergs. In many places, the continent is covered with ice over a mile or 1.6 kilometers thick. Scientists estimate that over 90% of all the ice on Earth is found in Antarctica. Due to warmer air and ocean temperatures, some scientists are concerned that Antarctica snow and ice might melt. If all the ice in Antarctica were to melt, the sea levels would rise around 200 feet or 60 meters. Okay, that's the end of the first paragraph. So a couple of words in there that might be new to you, like glaciers and icebergs. Those are just huge chunks of ice, like bigger than your house, like bigger than a football stadium. Okay, like huge chunks of ice. And then I also wanted to talk about that word mile. I'm going to ask my phone how many feet are in a mile. So let's see what she says. How many feet?
I thought so.
Hold on. How many feet are in a mile?
That would be 5,280 feet.
5,280 feet. So if you think about a ruler, that's 1 foot, right? So imagine 5,280 rulers stacked on top of each other. That's how thick this ice is. It's crazy, right? That's thick. That's how it is in Antarctica. Okay, did you guys get a chance to underline some stuff in there? Okay, go ahead, Kaden.
It's actually over a mile.
Oh man, so more than that. Whoa, Easton?
Like a few months ago, I opened the rings on my binder and it accidentally like went everywhere. Then I had to put it back in there. Then I didn't do it right, so I can't find it. I can't find the
Oh,
paper so I can
no.
underline stuff.
Uh-oh, it got in the wrong spot. Is your mom available? Maybe she can help you with that. You want to go see if she can come and help you? Yeah, go get her real quick. I know that's happened to students before. That's the worst. If you forget to close your rings and then you drop it, it's awful. It's like a nightmare. I bet she can help though. Moms are good at finding stuff. For sure. Is that your mom or your dad? I couldn't see who came in there. It's probably mixed in. So was that your mom or your dad that came in?
My mom.
Okay, Ashley, I don't know if she can hear me, but did you tell her what happened?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so she's looking for it. Okay, good. Just, you can just listen in for now then, okay, Easton, and then I'm sure she'll find it for you. So Kaden, you said you did underline some things in here. What do you think that paragraph was mostly about, Kaden? What did it talk about
I
mostly?
think it's about like all the ice and the snow
Yeah,
and kind of like how it's affecting like in the last sentence.
yeah, I agree. I think it really is mostly about the ice and snow. So I want you to put in the margin over here next to the paragraph, write that word ice right there. That's it. What we're doing is annotating, which is taking notes on your article to remind you this paragraph is all about mostly about ice. Did you have another question, Easton? Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually make a note. Oh, did you find it, Easton? Did your mom find it for you? Or is she still looking? Okay. Yeah, it's going to take a while to fix that. I'm so sorry that happened. It's kind of stressful. We're going to do the same thing with the next paragraph. Okay. So it's okay, Kate Easton, once you get it, you'll know what to do. You can fill it in when you guys find it, but we're going to read the next paragraph here. We're going to do the same thing, Kaden. So get your pen or pencil ready. You're going to underline stuff that you think is interesting or important here. And then we'll decide what this paragraph is mostly about. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was taken there in 1983, near the South Pole. negative 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And then in parentheses, it says negative 89.2% or degrees Celsius. In America, we use Fahrenheit. The other countries use Celsius, so you can just ignore that part. When blizzards occur, they usually do not bring new snowfall. They are caused by powerful winds, over 100 miles per hour at times, that blast old snow off mountain peaks. Winter and summer at the poles are both 6 months long. There is no spring or fall. I wanted to talk to you for a minute about that temperature, 128. It says negative. See that little dash right there? Have you guys ever heard of negative numbers before? Yeah. So basically, if you look at a number line, and if you turn the number line like up and down like this, for a temperature, it's like right now it's probably like 60 degrees outside. So it'd be like 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 0. 0 degrees is like super duper uber cold, like crazy cold, but negative numbers keep going down. So like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I mean, it would just go like all the way to the floor on the thermometer. That's how cold it is, negative 128.6. So we're talking like you go outside with a glass of water and boom, it's ice, just like that, frozen right there in your glass. Yeah, and it probably breaks the glass too. It's like that cold. Easton?
I found it. The story.
Yay! Woohoo! So I'll give you a minute to kind of underline some stuff that you think is interesting or important. Here, we're on the second paragraph. But Kaden, what do you think this one's mostly about? What does it talk about mostly?
The coldness.
Yeah, coldness.
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly. I agree with that, but we could call it weather. We'll call it, and you can write it kind of at an angle like that to fit it on there, but go ahead and next to that paragraph, write weather. That's what it's mostly about. Okay. So Easton, you can just turn it over and then read with us here. And then I'll give you time a little bit later to finish the first two paragraphs because I know you're catching up on it. Okay. On the back, there's 2 more paragraphs. We're going to keep going. So use your pen or pencil, underline as we go information that you think is interesting or important for your report. And then we're going to put in the margin again what these paragraphs are about. Okay, so let's look at this one. In these extreme conditions, few plants or animals can survive. There are numerous species of mosses, which is a type of plant, and liverworts, which is another type of plant, but only 2 species of flowering plants, which grow in the summer and disappear at the beginning of winter. In or near the coastal waters, sea birds such as king penguins, emperor penguins, and snow petrels have adapted to the harsh climate. Seals and whales are the only mammals found in Antarctica. Searching for food during the summer months, they escape the severe winds while swimming in the ocean. At the end of summer, they migrate north to warmer regions and return again only when summer approaches. So remember, they only have winter and summer. So in the winter time, they migrate and go where it's warmer. And then when it turns summer again, they come back. Okay, so what do you think, Easton, what do you think that paragraph was mostly talking about?
I'm confused.
Okay, that's all right. What do you think, Kaden? What is it mostly talking about there?
The animals.
I agree. Let's put animals here. It does mention plants a little bit, so, but mostly animals. I would say, talking about the penguins and the whales and seals and stuff like that. So write this in the margin here, Easton, okay, next to that paragraph. And then we have one more, same thing, keep underlining, and then we'll talk about what this one's mostly about. Okay. Antarctica was first sighted in 1820 and probably first touched by Captain John Davis, a sealer who claimed to have set foot on the ice in 1821. Over the next 100 years, there were many expeditions to explore the continent, some of which resulted in serious injury and death. In 1902, the crew of the Scottish National Antarctic Expedition erected the first building out of rocks. Racing with Englishman Robert Scott, Norwegian Roald Amundsen, and his team reached the South Pole in 1911. Today, there are about 70 permanent research stations visited by scientists from over 30 different nations that have signed the Antarctic Treaty. During the summertime, the population of researchers and tourists can reach 4,000 to 5,000 people. Okay, what do you think, Caden? What's that one mostly about?
The history.
History. It mentions a lot of different people too. But you're right, it's history, but I think we should put people here because it's talking about in history, the people that came to Antarctica. Okay, Easton, were you able to underline some stuff? A little bit?
I underlined some stuff like over here.
Yeah.
Let me just turn something on. I don't know, like some stuff right there, but
Okay.
I don't really underline like the second paragraph and like the third.
Okay, so you haven't underlined there yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's okay. We can do it as we go. So we'll talk about that. Okay. Go back to your keyword outline really quick. And I want you to turn your keyword outline over to the back side. And at the top, I want you to put these words: possible topics. Because remember, topics are your paragraphs, okay? So we got to decide what are our possible topics here. That's why we took notes in the margin. So look back now on the first paragraph. What word did we put in the margin there for the first paragraph? Can you look back on it? You can unmute and say it.
Ice.
Good. So that's one possible topic. So go ahead and just skip a line. We're gonna put this double space here. So ice, that's one topic. And I know Easton was looking for his paper at that time, so I don't know if he has it. Did you write ice right here, Caden? I'm sorry, Easton. So go ahead next to that paragraph, write the word ice in the margin there. Okay, and then write weather down here next to this paragraph. This is the second paragraph.
I already did.
You got that one. Okay, good. So weather, go ahead and skip a line here. Let's write in weather. That was one of the paragraphs. And then on the back, Caden, what's that next paragraph on the back? What did we put there?
Animals.
Animals, good. So we'll write that down. And then after you write that, Easton, what did you put next to the last paragraph? Say it again.
Like on the side,
Yeah, on the side of the last paragraph.
people.
Good. People. Good. So you see how we did that? We took our time, read the article, made notes. We just put little words next to those paragraphs because that's telling us what are the possible topics to write about. So I'm going to tell you, you only have to write a total of 3 paragraphs. You're only writing the first paragraph this week, don't worry. But your report is only going to be 3 paragraphs long total. That means you only need 3 topics. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 choices. So one of these topics you're not going to end up putting in your report. So that's part of summarizing. We're only telling some. And you get to pick what topics you want to do. So for today, though, I'm going to pick for you because I do think it's important to talk about ice. So go ahead and circle ice. That's where we're going to start today. It's important to talk about the ice in Antarctica. So now turn your keyword outline back over to this side. And we're going to start with Roman numeral 1. And it's always a good idea. Remember the subject. The subject is the big thing you're talking about, which is Antarctica. The topics are the smaller parts of about the subject. Okay, Easton, did you have a question?
Yesterday, like my dad was like cutting some trees down or something, and I wasn't used for there just being stumps there. Like it was just like getting cut like 30 minutes probably ago. And I was running, then like my shin, well, not my shin, but like my leg hit it, and that's how I like blew.
Oh no,
Yeah.
you got a big bruise probably from that.
It's like my femur bone, so I was like, if you
Oh
break that, you can't really do anything.
yeah, I bet. Does it hurt right now?
Sort of whenever you like when I walk or like when you like kind of push on it.
Yeah, you probably bruised it really bad. You're gonna have to be careful with it for a little while. That sounds painful. Yeah, those big machines when you're chopping wood, those are so dangerous. I'm glad it wasn't worse than that, so that's good. Okay, so on your outline here, next to Roman numeral 1, we're writing about Antarctica. So let's put that in first. Antarctica. That's the subject. And then we decided the topic we picked was ice, right? So let's put ice next. And then we need a word that kind of describes it in general, talking about Antarctica and ice. And I noticed in that first paragraph, it talked about how it was covered in ice, like pretty much the whole continent. Let me share a picture with you that I found online of Antarctica, so you can kind of see what it looks like. This is a map. Here it is. And it's flat on the map, but you know the Earth is shaped like a sphere, right? It's like a ball. And you can see here, here's Antarctica at the very bottom. It's the South Pole, right? That's part of the South Pole. It's at the bottom of the Earth. And then remember how it said it's twice the size of Australia? Australia is right here. It looks bigger than twice the size. It's like more like 3 or 4 times the size to me. But anyway, I think it's just kind of stretched out because it's like they took the ball and they laid it flat. So anyway, it's down here and it's pretty much all covered in ice. That's what the article said. Okay, so on our keyword outline, we have Antarctica ice, and I think we should put that word covered here. That just means almost the whole thing is covered in ice, and we're focusing only on ice for this paragraph, for this outline, this part of the outline. So from here, what we're going to do is look at only this top paragraph. We're not talking about weather and stuff yet. We're focused only on ice. So all the information for this first paragraph is going to come from here. So now this is where I'm going to have you guys take turns. And I'll start with Caden. And Easton, you can kind of look ahead since I know you didn't get a chance to mark this paragraph yet. Look for information in there that you think is interesting or important. And then we're going to add it to our outline here. So I'll start with Caden. What's something you underlined about the ice in Antarctica?
I highlighted twice as big as Australia, and it is the 5th largest of the Earth's continents.
Okay, good. So that doesn't really talk about ice yet, but I like that because it's introducing the continent. It's introducing the size of it. So I'm thinking, what do you think we should put for our 3 words that reflect that?
Mm,
I mean, I don't think we're going to get all of that in there. So maybe you can pick what
5th, and then Earth's continents, maybe.
5th largest. Oh, 5th Earth. Oh, we could draw a 5 and a TH for 5th. And then you could, okay. How about that? 5 TH. That's how you do 5th. And then we could put largest Earth's continents. Oops, that's an ST. Earth's continents. Oops, I spelled that wrong. It's an INENTS. CONINENTS, continents. 5th largest. Yeah, I like that. That was good, Caden. And by the way, if you guys get to make this your own, so if Easton, if you would rather put that it's twice as big as Australia right there, that's okay with me. Whatever you want to put in your outline. Okay, so Easton, did you find something from that paragraph that you thought was interesting?
Like any what's it called? Oh, any sentence?
Yeah, any sentence that you thought had interesting information in it about ice, just from that first paragraph.
I mean, there's one that says in many places the continent is covered with ice over a mile thick.
Yes, I like that. That's a good one. How can we put that in 3 words for our outline?
Ice, maybe first.
Okay, ice.
Covered.
Okay.
Maybe do like the greater sign than do a mile. So
Ooh,
like
I like that. Like the math sign, you mean? The greater than sign?
Uh-huh.
So ice covered greater than. Let's put that so far. Let's see, you got ice. Actually, I wonder if we don't need covered because we already set it up here. We're already talking about how it's covered with ice, maybe. I like greater than, that looks like this. And then what, Easton? You're muted. I didn't hear you. Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me? What's next? Ice. Yeah, what was it?
Greater than what?
A mile? Over mile?
Yeah.
Or that'll be a mile because I don't
Yeah.
know why you.
I like that because you already have greater than. That's in place of over. So ice greater than mile, and then what other word here?
Over a mile. Thick?
Yeah. Usually we think of a mile like when we're driving, like it takes so many miles to get to another city or whatever. So we're thinking like flat. But this is talking about thick means from top to bottom, right? So that is an important word to put there. So ice over mile thick. Easton?
Like the ice over a mile thick in like Antarctica, it still doesn't really make sense to me. Like, how could it even be like that large? Like,
I know.
so big.
So big. It's hard to imagine, but I think a lot of it's under the water. So I don't think it's a mile like from the top of the water up. I think it's maybe you only see like half of it. And then if you were to go deep dive, like scuba dive, if you went down there and looked under the water, that's where I think, yeah, it's like, I don't know if you've ever seen any pictures online about that, but it's just to show you really, it's hard to imagine. I'm with you, Easton, because I've never seen it before. Yeah. Crazy. I mean, thicker than whatever we have here, but okay. How about back to Caden? What else did you find interesting that you underlined there about ice?
That how however it is actually. Oh wait, that doesn't really have to do with ice though.
Yeah, I agree. What
Oh.
about the next sentence?
I did scientists estimate that over 90% of all the ice on Earth is found in Antarctica.
That's a good one. I wonder if we should put that a little bit later though, like down here. What about the glaciers and icebergs? Did you underline that part? No? Did you underline that part, Easton? Right here, let me show you.
I thought you were talking, kid.
Okay, I kind of think we should underline that, talking about huge glaciers and towering icebergs. That's what they're calling these big chunks of ice. They're called icebergs and glaciers. That's what they are. That's what that means. So, I don't know. This is tricky because before that, it talks about how the snow has piled up over centuries. Do you guys know how many years centuries is? Yeah, how many? I mean, what's 1 century, Caden? Ten? No, it's more than that. Do you know how many 1 century is, Easton?
100 years.
100. You're thinking of decade, Caden. That's 10. Yeah, decade. Century is 100. So if it's centuries plural, that means hundreds of years. So maybe we could start by putting right here, atop the land, snow has piled up over centuries. I think that should go next. What if we put a snowflake? That's like a plus sign with an X through it. Snow piled up centuries. And then for number 4, we could put those other words like ice sheets, huge glaciers, and towering icebergs. So, Kaden, how can we put that in there? About these ice sheets, huge glaciers, and towering icebergs. We don't need all those words, but which ones do you think we should put?
Oh, huge,
Okay,
and then icebergs,
yeah,
sheets,
okay,
and glaciers.
that's 4 words.
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to leave one of them off, I think, but I like
You
that
could
word.
draw an iceberg.
Okay. We could draw an iceberg. Or we could just either put, I don't know how to draw an iceberg, but if you want to draw one, go for it. I like maybe like huge and then glaciers and icebergs. I'm going to leave off sheets. But you pick how you want to put it on yours, okay? However you want to do that. I'm just going to put huge glaciers, icebergs. And then I liked your idea about the ice melting. That last part. So Easton, look at the last part of down here where it says due to warmer air and ocean temperatures, some scientists are concerned that Antarctica snow and ice might melt. How could we put that in the outline?
That would be pretty hard because it's very long.
It's very long. It is kind of hard. I agree.
Oh.
Well, we got to put like who thinks this, the scientists, right? They're the ones that think that.
I mean, I don't really know. It's like confusing.
Okay, well, here's another idea then. If that's too much, you could do the sentence before that where it says scientists estimate that over 90% of all ice on Earth is found on Antarctica. That one might be a little bit easier because we could use the number 90 and a percent sign.
So like 90% would be like not in the word like formation, it would just be like in the percentage.
Yeah, do you know how to do a percent sign?
Yeah.
You want to do that one instead of the other one about the scientists? Okay, so we could put 90 and then the percent sign looks like that. And then what, Easton?
90%. Uh, ice.
Yes, I think so too. 90% of ice.
Maybe like found,
Yeah,
then like Antarctica.
okay. I wonder, could we draw a little earth? That's kind of easy to draw, right? Maybe. Maybe earth next. Like I do a little ball and then I do little marks like this that look like land. Like a circle and then little squiggly lines in there that go off the edge a little. And then I think you're right. Found is a good word. And then Antarctica. That works. 90% of all the ice on Earth, that I think is important to have there, is found on Antarctica. And look at this, guys. This is cool because look, you have Antarctica here and here that you can use that for your topic clincher. That's handy because it's already there. Oh, and you have ice and ice. There you go. You got your 2. That worked out good. So remember your topic clinchers, you're going to either put a box around it or highlight it somehow with a highlighter, or if you're typing, you can make it bold, but the rule is 2 to 3 key words. So that this is nice. You have Antarctica and Antarctica and ice and ice. So when you go to write it, you'll have that done. And then your dress ups. you're ready now. So this is ready for you to write your first paragraph. Okay, that's your homework. And then look at your checklist really quick. Remember, this is how I grade it. This is page 95. Topic clincher, that's going to be easy for you. You've got that. And then don't worry about the title because you're not going to, you have 2 more paragraphs to go. So you're just doing 1 paragraph this week. And then these are your dress ups. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. Those you underline. So that's your homework this week. Any questions about what you're going to do for homework? No? Okay. So I know we're right at, we have a little bit of time. So Kaden was going to share something. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.
Yeah.